What's up everyone? So today I'm going to be trying to do the impossible and decide who is better, Michael Van Gerwen or Phil Taylor. So in this video we're going to be trying to work out who was the best player in their prime. So anyway, stick around if you want to find out my opinions on this. Obviously they are only opinions. I have statistics that back up my opinions, but they are just opinions. So let me know in the comment section below, who do you think is the best player, Phil Taylor or Michael Van Gerwen? Give me your reasons why as well. But stick around if you want to find out, and like the video if you haven't already, and subscribe if you're brand new. But anyway, let's get into this. So to start off with, we have to work out when each player's prime is. So for Phil Taylor, I've done his prime as being 1993 to 2018, which is basically his entire PDC career. And then for Michael Van Gerwen, I've decided his prime has been 2012 to the current day. So basically when Michael Van Gerwen kicked off and started doing things in the PDC to the present day now where he's still doing things in the PDC. But before we get into this, there are a few things you have to consider, which I'm not going to consider because I haven't got statistics to prove them, but the things that you're going to have to think about while I go through this video. And that is, back in the day when Phil Taylor was in his prime, early 90s, mid 90s, early 2000s, the equipment wasn't quite what it is today. The boards weren't as good, the darts weren't as good, everything wasn't as good. So just bear in mind that the equipment wasn't as good, and also just bear in mind that there were far fewer tournaments as well and chances for people to play and practice and stuff. So bear that in mind while we go through these stats. But anyway, so let's have a look at the statistics of each player during their primes. So for competitions played, Phil Taylor played 430 competitions and Michael Van Gerwen played in 335 competitions. Out of those 430 competitions, Phil Taylor won 205 of them, and out of the 335 competitions that Michael Van Gerwen played in, he won 127 of them. This gives Phil a 47.67% win ratio when it comes to entire competitions, which is an insane win ratio. And it also gives Michael Van Gerwen a 37.91% win ratio when it comes to all the tournaments that he played in. So next is going to be the matches that they played in. So Phil Taylor played in 2,015 matches during his prime, and he won 1,757 of those, giving himself a win ratio of 87.2. Now Michael Van Gerwen, on the other hand, played in 1,554 matches in total, winning 1,312 of those, giving himself a win percentage of 84.43%. So Phil outdoes him on the win percentages for the tournaments and the matches. So now we've got those out of the way, these next stats aren't as specific. These next stats are a little bit difficult to explain because Phil's prime career that I've given him is 25 years long and Michael Van Gerwen's prime career is only 8 years long so far. So these stats are a little bit outweighed a little bit, but you'll understand. So when it comes to 9 darters, Phil Taylor hit 21 to Michael Van Gerwen 17. Okay, so I'm editing the video here and I'm watching the darts here, and Michael Van Gerwen has just hit another 9 darters. So his tally has gone from 17 to 18 9 darters. So I was going to have to change that midway through. Hopefully he doesn't hit another 9 darter in the final, because otherwise I'm going to have to do this again. World Championships won, Phil Taylor has 16, Michael Van Gerwen only has 3. Major wins according to Darts database, and this doesn't include like the World Series and stuff like that. These are proper major wins. Phil Taylor has 94 and Michael Van Gerwen has 43. The checkout percentages for these two as well are very, very close. Phil Taylor's checkout percentage for this time is 42.84%, which is pretty good. And Michael Van Gerwen's checkout percentage for his time is 43.21, which edges Phil out a little bit. And the last bit I want to talk about is their averages. So over the course of their primes, Phil Taylor averaged 101.37, which is very impressive for a 25-year prime career. And Michael Van Gerwen's average from 2012 to today is 101.58. So again, Michael slightly outdoes Phil when it comes to the averages as well, but you've got to remember his career is 8 years long. Phil's is 25 years long. And the highest averages ever recorded from both players, Phil's was 118.66 and Michael Van Gerwen's was 123.40. So those are the baseline statistics that I have for these two players. But the one thing that interested me was it was all down to their opponents and their competition at the time. A lot of people would say, and I will agree with it, the competition nowadays compared to the competition 20 years ago is a lot higher. So I've got some statistics to back that up, and just to show you how much ahead of the game Phil Taylor and Michael Van Gerwen were from the rest of the field. So from the beginning of Phil's prime from 1993 all the way to the end of Michael Van Gerwen's prime, or the current time now, 2020, I decided to block off 5-year segments, and we're going to go through each individual segment and work out who was ahead of the field the most. So from 1993 to 1998, the average of the top 10 players, not including Phil Taylor or Michael Van Gerwen, was 98.90. And Phil's average was 93.25, making him 3.7% better than the rest of the field. Now in 1998 to 2003, the average of the rest of the field, not including Phil Taylor and Michael Van Gerwen, was 92.31. But during those times, Phil's average was 100.41, making him 8.8% better than the rest of the field. Now in 2003 to 2008, the average of the rest of the field players, not including Phil Taylor and Michael Van Gerwen, was 93.46. Phil's average during this time was 99.72, making him 6.7% better than the rest of the field. And Michael Van Gerwen's average was 93.88, making him only 0.4% better than the average of the rest of the field. In 2008 to 2013, the average of the players, not including the two we're talking about, was 95.01. Phil's average over these 5 years was 103.37. Making him 8.8% better than the rest of the field. Michael Van Gerwen's average during these times was only 94.28, making him minus 0.8% better than the rest of the field. So from 2013 to 2018, making it the main prime Michael Van Gerwen era, the average of the rest of the field was 96.88. Phil's average for this time period was 101.33, making him 4.6% better than the rest of the field. And Michael Van Gerwen's average for this time was 102.22, making him 5.5% better than the rest of the field at this time. And last but not least, 2018 to 2020, the average of the rest of the field players for this time was about 97. Phil Taylor didn't record any averages during this time, but Michael Van Gerwen's average for this time has been 100.96, making him 4.1% better than the rest of the field. So looking at these stats, it's quite obvious that Phil Taylor was a lot better than the rest of the field at the time, because the rest of the field weren't as good as they are today, and Michael Van Gerwen is always going to struggle a little bit just because the rest of the field nowadays is a lot better than it was back in Phil Taylor's era. Okay, so keeping with the theme of the 5-year blocks, we're going to have a look at the tournament percentage wins and also the match percentage wins between Phil Taylor and Michael Van Gerwen over these few year blocks. So from 1993 to 1998, Phil Taylor won 40.6% of the tournaments he entered, and he won 81.08% of the matches that he played. From 1998 to 2003, Phil managed to win an incredible 77.4% of the tournaments he entered, and also won 92.66% of the matches that he played, which is just ridiculous numbers. In 2003 to 2008, Phil managed to win 60% of the tournaments he entered, and also 90% of the matches that he played. In 2008 to 2013, Phil Taylor won 62.14% of the competitions that he entered, and he also won 91.44% of the matches that he played in. Michael Van Gerwen managed to win 21.21% of the tournaments that he entered that year, and he won 66.62% of the matches that he played. 2013 to 2018, Phil Taylor won 24.6% of the tournaments that he entered, and he also won 77.32% of the matches that he played, whereas Michael Van Gerwen won 42.36% of the tournaments that he entered, and also won 85.51% of the matches that he played. And then over the last 2 years, 2018 to 2020, Phil Taylor didn't enter tournaments during this era, but Michael Van Gerwen won 40.48% of the tournaments that he entered, and 83.65% of the tournaments that he played in. So anyway, those are my statistics. Let me know what you think about them in the comment section below. Who do you think is the better player out of Phil Taylor and Michael Van Gerwen? Now, going through those statistics, in my own personal opinion, I think that Phil Taylor was the better player. Michael Van Gerwen has certainly done things that Phil's never done, and Phil has certainly done things that Michael Van Gerwen will never do, in my opinion. And I don't think Michael Van Gerwen's ever going to make 16 World Championships, because the rest of the field is too good now. Michael Van Gerwen can't beat everyone every time the way that Phil Taylor used to. I mean, one of those stats, 77% tournament win ratio over the course of 5 years, it's just ridiculous from Phil. He was so much better than everyone else around him. It makes it almost impossible to compare Michael Van Gerwen and Phil Taylor, in my opinion. I think Phil Taylor's the better player. I think his prime was much better. I feel like Michael Van Gerwen, if you give him 25 years, if you give him 17 more years, is he going to replicate those results the way that Phil Taylor did over his 25 years during his prime? I don't think so. So, in my opinion, I think Phil is still the man, and Michael Van Gerwen's got a lot to do before my opinion changes. But anyway guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Who do you think is the man? Who's the better player of the two? Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching the video guys. Like it if you haven't already, subscribe if you're brand new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.